Knowing how and where to set up your turkey blind can be a pivotal part to your turkey hunting success. It can be the difference between this or this. Hi, I'm Isaac Tenner from Tenner Outdoors, and today we're going to take you through how to set up your turkey blind and where to set it up. There are three things you need to consider when setting up your turkey blind. The first one, location. Number two is proper blind setup, and the third one is adjustments within the blind. The first item on our turkey hunting blind setup is location. When locating where to put your blind, you first need to know where are the turkeys. Where you can generally find turkeys is where they sleep. So either on ridges with large pine trees or close to fields with large opening oaks or maples. If you can discern where the turkeys are sleeping, you can get close enough so that there is less travel distance between where the turkey sleeps and the location of the feeding point. The less distance you provide the tom to travel and allow his hens to get him in a different direction or distracted on something else, the greater your chances are that you're going to get that tom to come exactly where you want to and be close to your blind. I generally like to stay about 100 to 150 yards away from their roosting spot to allow them to fly down, mill around a bit, but then we are the first option that they see and that they go to. The second part, location, is food source. Turkeys are going to go where the food is, and this is generally on field edges. So what you want to find is the ability to have a roosting area next to a field edge. And you may be asking yourself, hey Isaac, why would I want to put it on the field edge when I can put it in the woods? It is a lot easier to track where that turkey is going to be on a field edge versus in the woods. In the woods, they have the ability to go 8 different ways. At that point, you have a very difficult chance to get a shot, and also there could be obstructing logs, branches, brushes, decreasing your shooting opportunity drastically. With a field edge, you can see them come in, you know about where they're going to be, and you're going to have an optimal shooting chance throughout your whole blind openings. The next part in our 3-part series is the setup of your blind. This is going to be most important for camoing your blind. So a couple things I want to talk about while I'm setting up this blind. We have this ability right now to set up that blind right very tight to the edge, but what we want to do instead is offset our blind just a little bit into that woods to break up any out protruding blind and not breaking that silhouette of that wood edge. Again, we try to be as inconspicuous as possible for turkeys, and so what we're going to do, I don't know if you can see it right there, there's a good little brushed in spot with some pretty thick bushes. That's where we're going to want to be. That way our blind's already 3/4 of the way covered and it's naturally fitting within its surroundings. So here's our spot right here. Like I said, we don't want to be protruding outwards, and some pretty decent coverage already on both sides. So we're going to try to slip that blind right in there. So just got the double bull up. We can see right there how it pretty effortlessly falls within that space. You're going to want to camo your turkey blind. I generally bring a pair of pruning shears that you can get at your local gardening store or Fleet Farm or wherever you're at. These do an excellent job cutting down the small shrubs that you're going to want to put in front of your blind, as well as some branches, whether it be pine branches, large leafy green branches, or any other thing of the sort, that you can start framing the camo around your blind. When I go prune branches, what I'm looking to do is look right around my blind, right? I don't want to take obviously anything right directly in front of my blind. What I'm looking to do is find stuff that's pretty close. So for example, right, we have a brush pile right up in all around through here. I mean, a lot of trees, a lot of branches. That's what I'm going to try to find. So I just cut down some shrub brush right in here. It kind of leads me to my next point. When you are trying to put your branches that you just cut, the last thing I would want to do is put them right freaking tight to the blind if you don't have to. I mean, you can put a couple there, but what you want to do is create a little bit of depth, because nothing in nature is just a thick wall. This way you can create a little depth and not have everything focused directly on your blind. So for example, I set this one right here just slightly off my blind again, so it's not tight up. It's not great with the camo, but you can still see that it's a lot less exposed as it would be if you just had nothing on there. Provides a little bit of breakup between the turkey's eyes and yourself. So I put on the greens, create a little bit of spacing with the with the shrub brush, added some nice grapevines in the bottom. You could deck this out for another 30 minutes if you really want to. I'm not going to do that, but it's very essential to at least brush out your blind to about this standard, if not higher. And the final thing you're going to want to do to have a successful turkey hunt with a proper setup is making sure that you have the right adjustments within your blind. This includes making sure when you sit down on your chair that your gun is not sagged down and you're pointing towards the stars, or you're not too high up and you have to lift up your gun. You want to make sure you have a nice stable resting point to shoot that turkey, as sometimes those turkeys may come in 50, 60 yards and you need to be steady before shooting that. So I'm in the double bull blind here after we just got it set up, and this is what I want to tell you guys to do. So I mean, you can pretty much kneel down, or if you have your chair, right, you can sit on that. And at this point, right, you can see what you really have shooting lanes on. So I can tell you where you want to set up your decoy, or, you know, hey, I got branches right dead in front of my gun. The last thing I want to be doing is dicking around with that right when the tom's coming in, or snapping off branches while I'm trying to, so I'm just either going to push that down or snap them off. The last part of blind setup and adjustment is actually making sure you have the windows open before you get into the blind. That way you don't have to fumble around as that turkey's coming in. You have all your shooting lanes ready to go. But word of warning, I would not open up too many windows if you don't have to, especially if you don't have a double bull blind or something that you can see through. Because again, the more light you're allowing in, the more movement you're possibly letting that turkey see. So try to be very conservative when opening up windows, just enough where you can actually have maybe 2-3 shooting lanes. When we talk about windows, having a couple open, hey, they're right here. Right now, if I was sitting in my blind and I never even bothered to go actually in my blind, what do I have the chance of shooting? Really, I have about a little 2-inch by 2-inch window, so nothing really. So I gave myself a main window and then the right window here. They're probably going to be coming from the left, so I want to make sure they don't see me until I get right here, and if they overshoot me, I can pop them before they go into the woods. Another great sneaky tip right in here is leaving your door actually open for when you get here at night, because you're going to want to get in here before they actually roost. So if your door's closed, especially with the zipper, I mean, right, and the turkeys, if you're again following your location direction, right, you're going to be somewhat close to the roost. So you don't even want to take that chance. So I just leave the door open. Then when I get in there, right, I just close it up a little bit, but I'm not having to jump all the way in there from start to finish. If you follow these 3 things when setting up your turkey blind, you are going to have a far better chance of success. So just to recap, you got to make sure you have the proper location, proper camoing and setup, and then proper blind adjustment. These 3 things are very critical in order to guarantee success within your turkey hunting trip. I'm Isaac Tenner from Tenner Outdoors, and thank you for joining us.